Hello, my name is Prime, and welcome back to ETS2 Showcases, and today we're going to be driving this Volvo FH Series 5 truck from here in Cardiff, and we're going to head up to Manchester today, with nearly all of the delivery being on more country road, and just a little bit of highway driving on the M55 when we get closer to Manchester. And we're going to be hauling post packages today with our Cargable Universal trailer. So without further ado, let's get the truck started up and get on the road. All right, let's get rolling. Hopefully everyone's doing well. I certainly am, and just a heads up, I am not using any third-party modifications today, so this video is everything Euro Truck Simulator 2, nothing third-party modifications. And I actually got to remember to be on the left-hand side of the road today, which is going to be a little bit different and maybe a slight challenge as well. Not going to lie about that one, so we got to make a left-hand turn here. This feels really weird. Haven't driven a right-hand drive truck in a hot minute. So it's going to be an interesting challenge, but great to be back here in the UK. And well, there's a bit of a reason for it. Well, there's a lot of reasons actually, but we'll talk about this in just a few moments. But wanted to mainly come back here for the sake of, well, not driving here for quite some time. Now, I think none of you would blame me per se for some of the reasons behind it, and I will openly say the reason behind me not driving here too often is simply the detail level and quality of the map. As great as ETS2 is in the UK for some of the aspects, this area needs a rework stat. As an ATS fan myself, or ETS2 fan, not ATS, well, both ATS and ETS2 fan. As an ETS2 fan, this really needs to be redone. It's long overdue. I know many of you, we've talked about it in plenty of videos. It needs to be done. But that's the main reason why I'm driving here today, and I got to remember to stay more to this side. It's so weird. I am really struggling to get my brain wrapped around this, but we're gonna get there. We are gonna get there if I can just try and maintain my lane here in a somewhat decent fashion. But we've had some pretty big news come out for ETS2 just recently, and news that also ties into why I'm driving here in the UK is because in the similar time when this part of the map was made, this feature was talked about, but got cancelled and now is back on the horizon. Coach buses are coming to ETS2 finally. So for those who don't know the history of the coach bus thing in ETS2, well, it has been a long time coming. Well over a decade ago, when ETS2 was launched, coach buses were talked about then being able to drive around. And in fact, as a little bit of a fun fact, there are plenty of passenger terminals in ETS2, various map expansions that are fully drivable, fully detailed, and ready to go. However, the feature has just not been there to date. But there have been some mods that have done buses and so on for ETS2 because of all the talk on that. But nothing official from SES Software until now. So we got a bit of a teaser trailer for it. Was a Scania coach bus, or just coach, depending on how you call it, pulling out from behind a Scania truck, which is very, very exciting. I can only assume that the coach bus side of things here with ETS2 is the Project Road Trip equivalent for American Truck Simulator. Each game kind of have their own unique market, obviously. And the coach buses has been a long anticipated feature for ETS2 and something that a lot of people have requested in a similar fashion to Project Road Trip, with all the drivable pickup trucks and cars and so on in the ATS side, because in North America, that is a major player in the market and generally, and just a huge popular sector basically of the automotive industry. So Similarly here in ETS2, the buses so far, according to the Prime News video that I did on it and some of the other conversations I've seen around the community, a lot of people are extremely excited for the coach buses to come. Of course, there are both sides of the argument. Same with what I've talked about with the American Truck Simulator side with Project Road Trip. This is a truck simulator at the end of the day. Now, when you get into buses, or for example, as ATS was Project Road Trip in the cars and trucks, or in the pickup trucks, is it still a trucking simulator, or is it a, you know, an overall logistics or, you know, just driving simulator at that point? You know what? That's up for you to decide your personal opinion on that. Obviously, everyone can have their personal opinion on it, and they're going to, and that's the way it is, and perfectly respectable. But I personally feel that both sides of the SCS software game spectrum, the addition of these extra features are just going to be a great way to open up the game for new players, get them into trucking as well, but also just for us seasoned players, have something different to do, but yet still explore the beautiful maps that SCS software create all the time. So I'm looking forward to it, especially with the coach buses here in ETS2. That's such a unique delivery option as well, and how they're going to implement the feature, I do not know. But SCS software 9 times out of 10 do absolutely amazing work. So I can't see it being anything less than impressive, basically, for the sake of the featured edition. But will we be doing just point A to point B deliveries? Will they finally introduce a bit more of a proper route situation? I mean, that's something we've wanted to have, or we've wanted to see in the general logistics network of ETS2, for example, or ATS, with being able to haul, you know, a certain cargo, have a contract, basically, have a contract with a particular company, or, you know, a bit of a chain delivery situation where one job directly flows into the others without having to choose another, you know, job in the cargo market and kind of simulate your own. Actually have built-in, basically, chain deliveries, if you want to call it that. Or say if you're going to, you know, deliver something for Euro goods, deliver to one facility and then deliver the rest of the cargo content to another. Or, you know, you may not empty your entire trailer at one facility. That's the kind of idea that on the logistics side with ETS2 I'd love to see. Will they do that with the passengers, where you're, you know, going between multiple terminals, picking up and dropping off, you know, various passenger cargo, basically? I'd love to see it. Will it happen? Hard to say. I could, honestly speaking, see it be a more of a point A to point B coach bus, you know, just from one city to another situation, more than a, you know, again, chain delivery with multiple pickup and drop off points. It's, as much as I'd love to see it, I think realistically, the individual way is just how it's always been, and probably how it's going to stay. Again, I'd love to see more than just point A and B. I'd love to see point A, B, C, D, etc. But again, we have to be realistic and say, what's the probability there? But comment down below what you think about that. Again, I'm just really excited to see what happens with this and the timeline of it as well. So this has been obviously cooking for a while now. SCS software seemingly is, especially here on ETS2, is, I mean, every single map expansion, as far as I know, have still had some passenger terminals added to it. So I feel like there's been like a person or two working away on this bus thing for the last like decade, on and off, just trying to get it to a decent point. And I mean, it seems like we're getting there now, but it felt like it hasn't been fully, you know, it wasn't fully put aside. They definitely changed where their designation of resources were, but way back when. But it seems like more of lately they've been working on that and trying to keep the idea alive for this point. So with the timeline on it, I can see it maybe being later this year at the earliest. That's being mighty hopeful. It's probably into 2026 at this point. I don't know. Maybe we will get it this year. Maybe it'll come out before GTA 6. I don't know. I don't know. That's the whole running joke. I know I've seen a lot of comments. I think even some of my on some of the videos as well, saying that this feature is basically this feature's coming out before even GTA 6. Now, what's the yellow blinking light? Is that just a general warning, or is there a train coming? There is train coming. Okay, it is a general warning. Well, it's a good thing I slowed down, eh? See, I know it sounds bad of me, but I really have to try and learn some of these road rules more here in Europe. I do my best, but again, it's not. A lot of things are similar, right? It's not like compared to North America. It's not, it's a completely different thing. But there are some different signage and lighting in particular differences of how warning and stoplights just generally behave. Does it light up first on when it's going to change to red, or is it going to give you the amber light when it's going green? Right? There's those different, although minute differences, are significant enough that you got to try and remember between the two and switch back and forth in my brain as well, just depending on the location. And to be honest, in today's delivery, I am having to do a whole lot of allocate a whole lot of brain power to try and stay on the left-hand side of the road. Although I think I've been doing pretty well. I do believe I've been hugging the inside or my left-hand side of the truck on the outer edge a little bit much in certain areas, but that's okay. It is what it is. But this is what I really enjoy. Well, one of many things I enjoy about playing ETS2 compared to some of the other simulators and stuff, because generally a lot of these simulators are based on North American based road rules, or if they are European, they're not fully fledged out. ETS2 has full allotment there, and also the whole right-hand drive stuff kind of natively in the game quite easily. So I like the challenge is what I'm trying to get at, and I'm gonna have to do some of the different more challenging deliveries here in ETS2 again, get some heavy hauls rolling, and I gotta do that also in ATS as well, not just speaking specifically for one or the other, but I realize that I have to do more here in ETS2, and I'm not saying that as a obligation. Oh, I'm gonna make an extra video a week. Oh, here we go. This is a genuine. I need to make more here because I really enjoy playing ETS2. I love being able to explore the different areas and challenge myself to driving in some of the regions that I'm just simply not used to, at least natively. So I like the challenge. I like ETS2. I'm gonna have to do more on it, but and I think this is where also the coach side of things will really help. Just generally speaking, driving across Europe, and in that case as well, potentially being more of a relaxing type of driving style as well, and I'm really flying through these country roads. A little bit more of a relaxing style as well could be really beneficial, especially once some of these reworked areas are finished off, and as they continue to do it, and as the map continues to expand as well. Now, we've also had some recent news here on the Nordic Horizons DLC, speaking about some of the different towns that are going to be featured within the DLC. Of course, there'll be many of them, but a couple of unique border towns specifically talked about, different, just nice Nordic details. And the Nordic Horizons DLC is going to be a beautiful DLC in terms of scenery. I can tell you that much. Based on the screenshots that have been provided in blog posts and so on, it is just stunning. Some of the mountain ranges and the coastal areas. It's going to be a wonderful DLC to have, and of course there's the Scandinavia refresh or rework project that is going on now as well to basically prepare for that expansion area. And then what comes next? And I know there was a little bit of talk actually about the thumbnail of the bus or coach teaser video, and in particular what what was showcased within it, on the different items and what they were potentially hinting at. So comment down below what you think could be coming next for a map DLC after Nordic Horizons. I'm interested to know your take on it. There's a lot of different options. I must say that. A lot of different areas where they could go, but I want to see where you think the map will be going, or based off of the some of the chatting points of that thumbnail as well. And I know there was some, but I want to hear what you think about that. As I've been driving across here, and I'm sure, well, it's quite obvious, but I'm sure you have noticed as well, it really does stand out in this region, unfortunately, how, the age of it. It's unfortunate, honestly. We also have just gotten used to having some absolutely insane detail in the newer expansion areas and the newer reworks and so on, that this area of the UK, well, I mean the UK in general, it just looks, well, the same. The same in terms of from one region to the next. Yes, some of the scenery does change as you go along, but all the prefabs, as I keep hitting the rumble strip there, sorry about that. Again, getting used to left-hand or right-hand drive, sorry. It's one of those things that it's definitely a challenge. I'll try and pass this guy, I think, because he's going mighty slow. Well, let's go by it. It's a challenge, because for me as a content creator, I want to try and show off the different trucks and deliveries and so on, and also enjoy the newest scenery. And there's a lot of new content in the various areas. Oh, and he's going over, so I can then go back to this lane over here. Awesome stuff. It's one of those challenges, because I want to try and show off some of the nice drive in some of the nice areas, and show off some of the newer places and content that are available here in ETS2. And the challenge being is that I do want to come back here to the UK, but the scenery, and in particular just the routes and so on, are so showing its age that it's a dramatic difference between any of the other areas. It's, I think, honestly, probably one of the main reasons why the UK hasn't been reworked to date is simply because it's on its own. If it were connected to mainland Europe, I feel like it could have been reworked already, just because of the extra connections to it. The UK being its own island, it separates it from the continental Europe itself, or mainland Europe, I guess, however you want to phrase it. And then that basically leads into this whole, well, it's kind of on its own, we'll get to it. We want to make sure that the rest of the areas that driving across into the brand new DLCs are all done. I'm assuming that's what's happening at this point, which is a shame, but I understand why it's happening. I can see once SES Software releases a teaser for the UK rework, things are going to blow up. The internet's going to go crazy. I'm going to probably go crazy as well. Maybe do a happy dance somewhere. I don't know. Try and do it in the sim rig. We'll see. But it's a similar reaction to what they were talking about with the coach bus release, actually. I remember hearing something saying that they were saying, the community is going to go crazy with the coach bus introduction, and rightfully they have. It's been a really positive introduction. Maybe coming along with it will be the UK rework, because of some of the, various passenger terminals that were created and currently exist in this section of the map, because of, again, as I mentioned earlier in this video, the initial intention to have coach buses in ETS2 well over a decade ago. So maybe it could come then. Maybe it won't. I don't know, but I can see once the UK rework does get announced, whenever that will be or how they're gonna do it, things are gonna go nuts, and I'm all here for it personally. I am absolutely all here for it. I want to see the UK reworked as bad as everyone else does. All the history, the different connections, the major cities and logistic networks and so on. There's so much that can be done here in the current standard, but at that same, or in that same vein, they are quite literally making a DLC from scratch. Just like all the other rework projects, essentially they are completely reworking this section from scratch, creating a essentially whole new UK DLC, albeit, you know, for free probably. Turn, Prime. There we go. The truck was not liking that steep corner with the speed I was carrying. I should have slowed down probably a little bit more, but honestly, I wasn't expecting that tight of radius on that highway ramp. I feel like that's really, really tight, but let me know what you think on that, actually, because knowing my luck, I'm just so used to North American ramps that take up, you know, a few football fields worth of space. I'm just used to probably more expanded highway networks that way. You know, I must say, some of the scenery is still nice here, and it's nice that some of the, you know, the various updates to the game over the years have helped it. Like the whole lighting change did a number to this entire region, but still, it's the detail levels that I just can't get over. As much as I love coming back here, it's going to be few far in between and before it's reworked. And I hope you all understand that. I'm sure many of you will. It's mainly just there's so many great areas. Oh, you deciding to go. Okay. I did have the green when I was getting into the intersection. The AI, gotta love it. There's so many great areas, you know, West Balkans, so on. And just pretty much the majority of the ETS2 map at this point because of the reworks that have happened. There's so many great areas that I still need to do in videos, and I want to explore more and deserve so much attention that it's hard to give to the areas that are like 13 years old. As bad as it sounds, it just is what it is, my friends. And again, hopefully, I'm really hoping that a rework will come quite soon for it. We will have to see on that front. All right, so we are going to be turning in here. Wait for the DAF to go by and the Range Rover behind it. Go. Now, where do we have to park this thing? Over here. All right, well, this should be a fairly straightforward delivery, which is nice. The Volvo FH5, which also, first time me driving this truck as far as I know. Oh, yes, I can't, my blindside reverses are opposite. Nice, okay. Well, this is interesting. Okay. We're gonna go this way then. Try and look in the mirror. I was gonna say something else, but I'll leave it there. Because I gotta try and focus on doing this because I completely forgot, to be honest. I'm just gonna kind of wiggle my way back here, which is sad but true. Oh, come on, just try and get the truck and trailer straight there, Prime. You can do it. Okay, it's a little bit better now. Still wiggling it back and forth, but you know what? It'll do. Okay, there we go. It's happy with that, and I am too. But I was gonna say, I completely forgot that everything is opposite. So the blindside reverse is completely opposite as well. So I should have set it up differently, but I recovered, parked it actually quite beautifully, I must say, given the lack of setup I did for it. Overall, great to be back here in ETS2. It is lovely to be back here in the UK as well. Don't get me wrong. I know I've ragged on it a bit in this video, but I'm being honest, as an ETS2 fan, I think we can all agree we want to see a rework done here for obvious reasons, and one even being where we delivered to and where we picked up from. Extremely similar depots. Something that we don't get a whole lot more. We're spoiled with in the new DLCs, and I understand that, but it'd be great to have this reworked. There's no lie about that. Great to be driving this FH5 as well. Very similar to the FH6, obviously, but lovely truck overall. Volvos just drive really nicely. Besides my driving ability of driving on for a right-hand drive, which I haven't done in ages. Great delivery overall. Really happy with it. Comment down below if you have any suggestions for me here on ETS2 or other games for that matter. And once again, thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.